Hello there, good vibes. So, how are you doing today? You see, here we are dedicated towards preaching love, peace, forgiveness, and honesty to the whole world. Yes, honesty. We do that by reacting together to some good vibes videos. Like today's videos, my friend, because of lack of honesty among different humans in different levels of the society. Some good web shows have dedicated themselves, my friend, to try and do experiments proving the shape and structure of the earth because of lack of honesty. So my friend, we shall get to see such type of videos and other videos of humans giving their opinions about different stuffs in this good vibes world. So my friend, stick on till the end and hit that like button. Please, before we dive in, let us also hear from some good vibes book of wisdom here. My friend, this one is the book of wisdom, aka the guide of life. This is what it says. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you confess and are saved. As the scripture says, anyone who trusts in him will never be put to shame. For there is no difference between Jew and Gentile. The same Lord is Lord of all, and richly blesses all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. All glory be to God. That, my friends, is from Romans 10:10 going down. Let's give thanks to our Creator before we dive in. Thank you, dear Lord Father, for this good vibes day. Thank you for this wonderful soul that you created and have enabled to join us today. All glory and honor belong unto you, dear Lord. Father, as we react to these videos, guide us, help us to spread our message to the whole world, dear Lord. And these people that shall be watching, impact their lives positively, Father, and intervene. In Jesus' mighty name, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Let's dive in, my friends. Till next time. Hey, good vibes.
Never sit in a meeting like this, or this, or this. The way you look affects how people perceive you. Keep your hands visible during the meeting. This makes it look awkward. People don't know what you're doing with your hands. Hands on the table is a sign of confidence, and you'll see a lot of powerful leaders do this on the table. You also want to avoid fidgeting with your hands, like this, because this shows that you are experiencing a lot of nervousness and anxiety. Straight posture, chin up, keep your hands visible.
Mold in your house? How in the heck do you remediate that? I'm going to tell you right now. Almost every single day of my life, dozens of people ask me, how do I get rid of this mold? That includes realtors, that includes clients, includes people here on social media. I'll ask right up front, if you find this video useful, please like and share it, and please repost it so that you can share this with other people, because this is information that honestly I think everybody should know. Listen to me now or believe me later. Bleach is not a good solution for remediating mold. So, little factoid for you. Bleach doesn't kill all mold, and it does nothing to prevent its regrowth. I'm going to give you right now a 5-step remediation plan that I genuinely believe in, I have used many times, and there's some components here that I'll bet you never thought of and most people don't. The very first thing that you need to understand about mold. Number 1, mold requires moisture, and it also requires a very hospitable temperature band, which means it can only grow within a certain temperature range. So the first thing that you got to do with mold is dry it out. And then once you get it dry, and you can do that with air movers, fans, and a dehumidifier or 2 or 3, whatever your mold situation is. But dehumidify, use fans and air movers to get everything dried out as much as you can. That's the very first place you start. As long as there's moisture, mold is going to thrive. Number 2, once you get everything dry, what you're going to want to do is heat it up. You have to make sure it's dry before you do the second step of heat treatments, but guess what? Mold dies at 140 degrees. It's the same principle. It's the same reason that we cook our food. You cook your food to kill pathogens. Well, mold, bed bugs, termites, you name it, heat kills it. So, heat treat. Now, this is a very dangerous and very technical step, but you put thermometers on the wall, both high and low. If you're talking about a basement or a crawl space or a room, you heat that room to 160 degrees and you hold that heat there. Now, why do you do that? Because guess what? You can't see mold every place that it's growing. Sometimes it's behind walls. Sometimes it's inside rafters or behind insulation. So as long as you can heat it up and hold that heat for a long period of time, the heat treatment will actually kill the mold. Now, it may not be foolproof and you may not kill all the mold. So what do you do now? You come in and you do a 3-step spray. The first step is going to be white vinegar, the cheap stuff from Walmart. Don't buy anything fancy. Don't waste your money on big fancy, bottles that you get on Amazon. Go down to Walmart, buy a bunch of white vinegar, put it in a pump sprayer, and spray any area that you think might have mold or has mold. Just spray it down, hose it down, wet it down. Just spray it everywhere. Vinegar isn't going to hurt anything. It's just going to smell kind of bad. But other than that, vinegar is the first spray that you do. After that dries, doesn't hurt to spray vinegar again. So do 2 or 3 treatments if you want to be really, really sure. Step number 2, spray a bleach solution. That actually will work, and it does actually kill mold. So if you do a second step of bleach, this is the hard one though, because you got to use a fresh air respirator, or you got to do really limited exposure to it, because chlorine fumes can get very strong and they are toxic. After bleach, your final step. This is the step that most people don't do and a lot of people don't know about. Go to the grocery store and get yourself a box of borax, the laundry soap, the laundry booster. Mix a borax and water solution in your pump sprayer and spray everything with borax. Borax creates an alkaline surface. It actually changes the pH level of the surfaces, and it interrupts the mold, and it inhibits its regrowth. So anything you spray with borax, mold's not going to grow back. That's the preventive step that most people forget or most people don't know about. You see a lot of people spraying bleach and then complaining that the mold's growing back and it's coming back. They don't know that age-old trick of using borax. Borax actually kills mold as well, so it is an effective treatment. But I'm telling you, if you do this 5-step plan, mold doesn't stand a chance. Now, what you also have to do is look at root cause. The number 1 cause of mold in homes is moisture. The second cause, and usually you find both of these, is a lack of ventilation. Because if you have a space with air moving through it, that is not a good condition for mold to thrive and grow. So you got to make sure it's dry and you got to make sure it's ventilated. You got those 2 things, you're golden.
Jupiter is made of gas. Could you fly a rocket straight through it?
No. But it's a great question. Yeah. So you could fly a rocket through the upper bits of its atmosphere, where it's not quite as dense. But if you go down towards the core of Jupiter, the pressure becomes so high and the temperatures become very high. We think there are all sorts of exotic materials. We don't really know what's at the centre of Jupiter. But if you tried to fly a rocket through the centre, it wouldn't get very far. It'd get squashed and crushed and melted.
You see this behind me? This fucking palm tree with the little skirt of leaves? You know what really fucking irks me is when people cut that off. Alright, cause it makes it filthy dirty, it makes a mess, huh? It makes a mess, huh? What are you, fucking Martha Stewart? Don't worry about the mess, it's nice. I like the mess. What's it gonna fuck up your lawn? Leave the skirt, cause you know why? A lot of cool bats, owls, other birds live in it, alright? It creates a lot of habitat. Leave the goddamn skirt on. I hate it. These idiots, they shave the thing up to the top of the where the green leaves are. It looks like a torch. It looks like a fucking poodle's tail. So deranged. But you know, if you live in the suburbs already, the suburbs already look so fucking hideous and spiritually sick. I guess a poodle tail palm tree that's got no skirt of leaves beneath it would look fine.
One of the traits that you'll see again and again with people who really get the job done, who make amazing changes in other people's lives, shows up in the small letter T. For example, if I do a small letter T like this, notice how low the T bar is where it crosses. It's so low, it's actually below these middle letters, these what are called middle zone letters. It's so low that this indicates low self-esteem. In other words, you can tell how high someone's opinion of themselves is by looking at the T-bar, because this shows how high they set the goals for their own life.
Do you ever notice that the moment you begin to pray, suddenly your flesh starts to squirm and fight you? The moment you begin to pray, suddenly you almost feel like this agitation. You have to go on to the next thing now. Looking at the clock, how long has it been? I don't know what to say. What do I do? What am I supposed to pray? Do I sit? Do I stand? Do I pace? And there's all this activity going on inside of you. There's all these distractions that are fighting for your attention. And in that moment, if you're not careful, you will walk away from the prayer room simply because you got frustrated with the flesh that was fighting you.
I have a question. Why are we all getting so gray so young? Like, look at this. I am 29, and if I let this grow, I mean, I'm gonna look like a freaking grandma.
If you are in your 20s or early 30s and are starting to notice gray hairs, then listen up. I'm a dermatologist, and you may have premature hair graying. I'll tell you what causes it and how you may be able to reverse it. First things first, you may want to get your blood drawn. We know that low iron, copper, B12, and thyroid levels have been linked to premature hair graying. Correcting those deficiencies may help to bring color back to your hair. Remember when your mom told you not to stress because you would turn gray? Turns out, mom was right. Really compelling evidence that stress can make hair turn gray or white prematurely. Reversing stress can even help the pigment come back to your hair. As if you need another reason not to smoke or tan, oxidative stress from smoking in the sun damages pigment cells at the hair root, which leads to, you guessed it, gray hair. So in addition to managing risk factors, there are some new promising topical treatments that may help to slow or even reverse gray hair. These contain antioxidants or compounds that may help protect pigment cells in the hair follicle or even stimulate pigment cells to produce more color. It is critical to note that these treatments are probably only going to work if less than 30% of your hair is gray to begin with.
Welcome to the cloud making factory of New Zealand. Here you can see in all its glory, it is actually producing quite a lot of cloud today. You can see other vents in the distance there and over here, over yonder. There's a cloud making a man in their cloud making truck heading down probably to investigate some more clouds. You can see over here as well, down by this little cloud vent, that clearly some cloud man work is being done. And yeah, and this is how the clouds get made in the southern hemisphere.
But over the past couple of days, I've gotten them a little bit more used to the cameras anyway. I guarantee you they're watching me right now. I'm probably not very far away. As a matter of fact, I think I just heard one back here. They're not the most quietest animal, believe it or not. I made some very close contact with them. And I'm going to tell you right now, they don't have big feet. I wouldn't call them a Bigfoot at all. They're a lot more human-like than they are ape-like. As a matter of fact, like I said, they don't even have big feet. Their facial features are more of like a human being. More protruding, I guess, almost caveman-like, I guess I could say. But middle of the night, suddenly I just heard this god-awful sound. Something else came in to, I guess, their pack of, I can hear them out there right now, their family group, whatever it is you might call it, and there was some kind of fight that happened. I mean, it was an absolutely terrifying sound. And then they were gone for about 2 days.
What would happen if you consumed ginger every day for 2 weeks? Start adding ginger to your food, use it as a tea, or even adding it to your lemon water. Ginger reduces feeling nauseous. It has many other benefits, including improving your cognitive function, helping get rid of headaches, reducing menstrual cycle cramping, improving circulation, improving respiratory function, decreasing bad breath. It even acts as a natural blood thinner.
Aside from making a lot of noise and a lot of mess, geese and ducks really do have a lot of practical applications on the farm. Waterfowl poop every 15 to 20 minutes, and a lot of this poop winds up in their pool. This dirty poop water is liquid gold and can be used to fertilize your plants or fruit trees. It's really high in nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. Ducks and geese also eat a lot of grass, weeds, and other vegetation, so we use our geese as weed eaters. The only downside to this is that they'll also eat all of your flowers if they can get to them. Geese are also often used as guard animals. They're incredibly vigilant, have a great memory, and learn through observation. They'll let you know when anything on the farm is out of the ordinary. Our geese have a very specific honk that they use when they notice someone coming up the driveway, and it's loud enough to capture your attention from inside the house. Geese and ducks are also both commonly used for meat and eggs, but we don't use our geese for anything other than weed eating, entertainment, and as watchdogs. Waterfowl are incredibly entertaining and often have big personalities. If you don't need them to weed eat, create fertilizer, or act as watchdogs, you may as well get some for easy entertainment. I could watch our geese nibble at my shoes, play with a bucket handle, or splash in their pool for hours on end without ever getting bored.
This may look like an ordinary piece of junk mail, but in reality there's a secret message hidden on this page. But even looking right at it, you wouldn't know it was there. Here, let me circle it. If I cut out this little piece of paper and soak it in water, you can see that this little black speck is actually a solid separate piece that comes off. It doesn't look like much, but that's because the message is too small to see. If we take this little chunk and stick it under the microscope, we see the hidden message. This is called a microdot, and it has been a key piece of spy technology for almost 100 years. In World War I, they were used to allow sending more dense information discreetly via carrier pigeon, and in the Cold War, they were used extensively by spies operating in the Soviet Union and around the world. But if you want to learn how to make them, you're going to have to watch the full video on our channel.
There is a legend that when Vasco da Gama, the great Portuguese explorer, landed in the port of Calicut in India, he had no one on his crew who could speak Malayalam. So the sailors looked around to see if they could find an Arab merchant who might speak a European language and Malayalam and who could translate for them. But the moment the Arabs saw them, their leader marched up to da Gama and exclaimed in perfect Italian, "The devil take you! Why are you here?" You see, this Arab captain was outraged at seeing Europeans in a place that he had previously thought to be blissfully free of them. That's how I feel seeing a Cybertruck on the street.
In the past 24 hours, there's been 778 earthquakes, the largest being a magnitude 5.2 in the Tonga Islands area. That's a location where we had a magnitude 6.9 back in August. This is your Geo Roundup for September 20th, 2024. Let's dig into the details. The active volcano count is up by 1 to 36 this week. Can you guess which volcano became active? Find out more at the end of this Geo Roundup. Over the week, we've had 7,206 earthquakes, the largest being a magnitude 6.5 near Mount Washington, British Columbia, Canada. There's a shallow earthquake at around 10 kilometers depth. However, the low population density in the area meant not many people felt it. And if you guess Kilauea in Hawaii, you are correct. This is the most recent active volcano, springing from unrest to active this past week. Find out more what happens over the course of the week in next week's Geo Roundup. Thanks for watching.
Did you know these 9 common forms of government around the world? Democracy, monarchy, republicanism, dictatorship, aristocracy, anarchy, theocracy, communism, and tribalism.
Solar panels produce what's called DC electricity, which is not usable in your house because your house uses AC electricity. And that's why we need inverters. For a long time, we used what are called string inverters, which were mounted inside your basement. But now we use what are called microinverters, which are mounted on your roof. For the most part, there's one microinverter for every 2 panels. Sometimes the ratio is 1:1 or 1:4. But instead of DC electricity flowing down off my roof into a string inverter, the power is converted right here on my roof by that little microinverter right there, and AC power flows down off my roof directly into my electrical panel. This allows me to monitor the production of all of my solar panels on a second-by-second basis, so I know if any of them have broken down or there's an issue with one of the inverters. The other nice thing is that if one of these inverters does end up failing, the rest of the system keeps working. Now, it's also important to note that string inverters are still very commonly used, but at residential sizes, microinverters have become more popular.
Okay, they're not going to leave me alone until I give you this message. A few weeks back, I did a video about the QAnon little group, and that it was a Stargate, but I wasn't for sure where it was. So this second moon that they're talking about, that's the Stargate. It's that second moon. This is what we've been waiting for. This is why Trump talks about Q, and he's always saying 17 in his speeches. Q is the 17th letter in the alphabet. They've known about this Stargate, and they've known about it coming. This is the final Stargate. It's going to activate so many people. And we're all going to be seeing it at different times, starting from state to state. Saying good job, everybody. Good job. You did it.
My God. In some place, some 2 moons were spotted. This is crazy. You see, I've just been hearing people say in different episodes of how they see 2 moons, but now here we have a footage of really the 2 moons. My friends, you see, this is a clear indication that these are the times that humanity or all humans need to unite, be loving towards one another. You see, and kind. Because stuff like this, my friends, how can we even explain them? Oh my God. Good people of Earth, please love your neighbor like you love yourself. Be forgiving to all. And let's leave all our burdens to the Creator. You see? Let's
This
focus.
stuff here is a great natural bug repellent. If the mosquitoes are swarming you, this might help you out. This is called Scarlet B Balm. I find a lot of it growing in wooded, shady areas along creek banks.
And not only is it a great bug repellent, it also makes a great tea.
It has kind of a minty flavor with a hint of citrus and oregano. It's one of my favorite teas to make when I'm out in the woods. It contains thymol, which is an active ingredient in some mouthwashes, so it can also be used as an antiseptic.
The younger leaves are better. The older they get, the more bitter they are. The flowers are really good. Have kind of a sweet flavor.
To use it as a bug repellent, I just strip some of the leaves off, crush them up, then I'll rub it on my skin and my clothes, just like you would use yarrow. You can also use it this way as a poultice for minor skin infections and wounds. An even better way to use it as a bug repellent is to hang and dry bundles of them. After a few weeks, they'll be dry. After I give it a light, it'll smolder for a while and give off a lot of smoke. And the scented smoke is great at keeping the mosquitoes away. You can make a bunch of these things and keep them in your pack for when you need them.
A gyroscope is an incredible precision instrument. It's got a wheel mounted inside gimbals that let it rotate on one axis. And as you move or shift the whole thing, the wheel inside stays steady. It doesn't change its angle. This is called rigidity in space, meaning that the inner wheel of a gyroscope keeps its orientation in relation to space, not the Earth. Now let's think about what this means for the shape of the Earth. If the Earth were a spinning globe, a gyroscope should definitely notice. Say you set up a gyroscope with its axis pointing vertically and let it sit for 6 hours. Since the Earth is supposedly spinning at 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator, the base of the gyroscope should rotate with it. After 6 hours, you'd expect the axis to have shifted by 90 degrees from vertical to horizontal, right? But here's the thing, it doesn't. You can try this experiment yourself or look at videos of people who've done it. The gyroscope's axis doesn't shift at all, which throws a pretty big wrench into the whole spinning globe idea. And it gets more interesting. According to the heliocentric model, Earth isn't just spinning, it's also zooming around the sun at 67,000 kilometers per hour, spiraling through space at 500,000 kilometers per hour, along with the solar system, and hurtling through the universe at millions of kilometers per hour. If all of that motion were real, surely a gyroscope, one of the most sensitive instruments we have, would pick up on it. But it doesn't. The gyroscope just stays steady, not registering any of these wild motions that we're supposedly moving through. What does that tell you? Gyroscopes are also the technology behind inertial guidance systems and airplane artificial horizon indicators. Think about this. When military jets are doing loops, barrel rolls, or crazy dogfight maneuvers, pilots rely on their gyroscope-powered artificial horizon to tell them their exact orientation. The plane might be flipping through the sky, but the gyroscope stays steady, giving the pilot an accurate readout. But if Earth was really a sphere, as soon as you fly level for a while, that artificial horizon should show a gradual dip, because the pilot would need to keep adjusting downward to follow the curve of the Earth. Yet that's not happening. Here's an example. If you're flying at 500 miles per hour over a globe Earth, you should be descending an average of 2,777 feet every minute to avoid flying straight off into outer space. In 1 hour, without that descent, you'd be 31.5 miles higher than when you started. But planes don't descend like that. They fly straight and level, and the artificial horizon stays steady. If the Earth were truly curved, why don't pilots constantly adjust for that curve? And if Earth really was a globe, why would we even need rockets to get into space? In theory, just flying straight would eventually take you out into space anyway. But that's not what happens, because maybe, just maybe, Earth isn't the spinning ball we've been told.
This man claims that he's a time traveler, and he has a lot of videos to prove it. Because when he time travels to the past, he brings his phone with him to record everything.
Guys, I am here in 1984. As you can see behind me, there's Taco Bell. Not lying.
But how does this video prove that he time traveled to 1984? Let's play the video a little bit more and look closer at the Taco Bell store.
Look at this, 1984, guys. It's Taco Bell.
For reference, this is what Taco Bell stores look like in 1984. The brown bricks are the same, the font of the logo is the same, and even the oval-shaped hole in the store is the same. And this is what a Taco Bell looks like today. It's totally different. But of course, people online wouldn't believe him from just one video, so a commenter challenged him to do this. Go to New York and show us the World Trade Center. And he actually did it. The next video he posted creeped out the people online because it looked like he went back to New York the day after the 9/11 attack. And he showed physical evidence that proved that he time traveled.
Currently in 2001 New York City right now, just like you guys wanted me to show you. If you don't believe me, let me show you something.
He pulled out a newspaper with the date September 12, 2001. And to prove that he's not just stitching old videos from the internet, he recorded himself like this.
How's this for proof?
The last 2 seconds of this video showed the burned rubble of the Twin Towers. But people still didn't believe him, so he uploaded this video.
Who still do not believe that I'm a time traveler, this is going to be absolute proof that I am. I'm about to prove to you that I've already lived this day and I could pretty much predict everything that's about to happen. Let me show you. White truck, white car. Gray car, white car. Blue car, gray car. Blue SUV, white truck.
And this is where things get interesting, because he claims that jumping from one time to another is dangerous, because people from the past started to notice that he wasn't from their time and started to follow his every move.
That van right there has been following me for the past half an hour throughout the whole city. I think they're catching on to me. I think they found out that I'm in the wrong time period.
So is this man a real time traveler? This guy spends all of his time recording videos to prove that he's a time traveler. And he always starts his videos like this.
I just came back from the future. What I'm about to show you is gonna blow your freaking mind.
And if you check his TikTok account, you'll see that he's been posting countless videos as proof. Most of his videos get millions of views because people are curious if he's a real time traveler or not. Now, let's start the investigation. To know the truth, we need to dig deep onto his TikTok account. This is his first ever time travel video that he posted.
This is gonna basically prove to you 100% that I'm a time traveler.
And his proof? This Super Nintendo from 1995. This video went viral, so he uploaded another video and it went like this.
This right here is a video camcorder used back in 1999 by families that lived in that time period. How could I possibly get this, guys? Come on.
But he wasn't only going back in time, he was also going into the future. And his next video would prove just that.
I'm gonna show you something that I got and brought it back to this time to show you guys. I have with me an item from Taco Bell that does not exist anywhere else but in 2027. McDonald's sold its quarter pounder to Taco Bell in 2027, guys.
This video went viral again, and this is when he realized that people are into time traveling. So he posted more videos to prove that he is a time traveler, and this made him a super popular TikToker with hundreds of millions of views. And because of his newfound fame, he didn't want to get debunked. So people started challenging him to time travel to different times, and he was more than ready to take on the challenge. And he dared to go back again to the year 2001 before the 9/11 attacks ever happened, and this is what went down.
Guys, when I went to the World Trade Center after 9/11, as you could tell in the video, that still apparently was not enough proof. You guys wanted me to go back and show the actual towers before the attack. And I hate going back over there because it's spooky. It's a spooky era, but just because I'm a nice guy, I was willing to go there today and film a few clips. Now some of these clips are going to be the Twin Towers, me showing you my face with the Twin Towers behind me, and also a few clips of New York City during that time. Guys, this is going to blow your mind. Check this out. As you can tell, I got the Twin Towers behind me. Guys, I'm not making this up. I'm about 3 miles away from the World Trade Center right now, but look, there they are, right behind me.
But this video wasn't enough proof for his followers to believe him, and it made them doubt him even more. Because unlike his other time travel videos, this video looked so grainy. And if you look closely, he glitched in the video, which is an indicator that he was probably using a green screen. And that's not the only thing about the video, because people noticed that the towers in this video look totally different from the real ones. Dude, that's not the towers, too small, and the Twin Towers never connected at the top. According to Google Images, this is what the real Twin Towers look like, but this is what they look like in his video. So is this guy a real time traveler, or is he just claiming to be one for fame? Well, his story takes an interesting turn when he decides to expose himself.
I get a lot of comments on my videos saying, dude, you're so lucky for all the followers that you have. But let me tell you, it has nothing to do with luck. I've put in the work. I've put up hundreds of videos, allowed myself to look like a complete idiot for you guys to ridicule me and make fun of me. I stay up at night thinking of creative ways to entertain you. Don't be afraid to look like an idiot like me.
So he's not a time traveler, everything is scripted, and he's just doing it for the fame.